everyone, welcome back to the Diabetic Diet Show. Today I'm going to make one of my favorites. It's a Chinese Asian dish, and it's a beef vegetable with ramen, garlic. I have some peanuts I'm going to crush up, a lime for a little acidity, and I'm going to make a soy miso sauce. This is show number 322. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stick around. Let's get started. The first thing we have to do is start by boiling the water. So I'm using my new burner, which is super duper hot to get the water boiling. And this new pot that I ordered online has a basket in it, and it will start boiling. Once it starts boiling, I can put some salt in it. So I have a salt shaker all set, ready to go there. Now, I've already washed up some of the vegetables, and we'll have to think about getting them cut up. I'm going to be using ground beef, and I have my pan all ready for the ground beef. So we'll get that off in the frying pan. It's a big old chunk. Just kind of break it up a little bit with the package. So it's going to be laying out when I put heat on it. And I just need to wash my hands. Starting to look like it's warming up. Now I'm going to use a Hosein sauce instead of a Sambal Oelek. I know people like Sambal Oelek. I tasted it. It's just really hot. So I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use any red pepper flakes. That's something you can add if you want. The peanuts, I just kind of dumped some out in a container. And I'm going to use my chopper. And I'm just going to chop them up. Yes, magnificent. And my bell pepper, need to cut that up now. So just the typical red bell pepper, cut around the ends, just like this. And I normally use my trusted butcher knives for this, but I need to sharpen them. And I'm just going to save these. So I'm just putting those in a separate container. And I just like to run my knife very carefully to cut off the veins in here. And then I'm just going to cut them long ways like this. There we go. That's fairly easy. Now the bok choy. One tip on bok choy. I bought this at the store, brought it home. I left it in the plastic bag, and the outer arms got browned up. So I pulled them off, pitched this. I've already washed this. So that's a tip. When you bring it home, make sure you take it out of the bag that you bring it home from the store in, so that you don't have any browning on it, because they will do that. So I just cut the tips of the leaves off, and then just, I'm just going to cut it up this way. Just like this, right down to the root. I hear my water boiling. There we go. This new stove really cooks things. So here's my noodles. Oodles and oodles of noodles. Put them in the basket. Put the lid on. And then I'll set the timer. And if you want all these measurements and everything, you can get them right on my website, which is jamestdds.blogspot.com. Or if you want, just hit the subscribe button and then the more button, and you'll see everything all listed there. Okay, the timer is done. I can pull these noodles out of here. Now I'll just let them sit for a little bit while I get the next thing started. Get the pan going nice and hot, and get some olive oil. So I'm using some olive oil. And I also have some peanut oil. So I kind of mix the two. Then I get the flavor of the olive oil with the flavor of the peanut oil, but the peanut oil has a higher flash point, so you're better off to have the two of them together when cooking on a high heat. Here is the bok choy. Put it back into the strainer. And I need to cut up the garlic. Right here in the cutter. You can use a press, you can use a cutter, you can just chop it with a knife. I'm not going to turn this into mush, but I do want to break them down. There we go. This blade out of here. This is where the neighbors start to go, wow, that smells good. I'm going to turn this down because you want to work on medium heat. Turn that down. A little bit more oil. Enough. Gotta have enough oil. Now let's get this bok choy in here. And some red peppers. Save these red peppers for later. Salt, pepper, okay, lemon, cut off the end, put down the center. Cleans your cutting board. Get these in. Let that cook for a little bit. Clean up. Now that this has been cooking for a bit, we'll switch, put our ground beef up there. Let's just go ahead and offload this. Okay, we're going to get that in the bowl, and we'll set this aside. Turn this up to get it going, but don't walk away from it. The noodles, I have to go rinse them. You have to rinse your noodles so they don't stick together. Take a big chunk out of here, and I put it on my wooden spoon, or I put it on top of another piece of meat when I check it. Okay, 155, this stuff's about done. Now, sometimes in an Asian restaurant, they'll throw in a little bit of beef broth here to cool the pan down. I'm just going to use a little bit of water in the bottom of my bowl. Have to rinse the bowl out anyway. Now we can put in some sauce. I have some Hosein sauce, or you put in your Sambal Oelek. Your soy sauce. Very good. Now we have to turn the fire off. The noodles, I rinsed them with hot water. There we go. Now, I'm going to get a wok shovel and a noodle shovel. So let's start out with the tongs. I love this pan that I bought on the internet. This was really one of my good investments for the kitchen. And it wasn't that expensive either. Isn't it neat sometimes where things are not very expensive and it works so well for you? Has this little tray in the bottom that I put a knife under when I was at the sink so I can pull it out. You have to kind of tip it at an angle to get it out of there, but it comes out like this. This can be hot. So let's put some noodles on here. I don't like to overload the plate. You can always go for seconds. And then right in the center, I like to work it out so that there's a spot in the center for the meat and the noodles are pushed out. I think it looks better when you're done. Gives you a better look. And this is going to be delicious. Wow. And if you want a little crunch, I know we have the peanuts, but for a little bit more crunch, you could cut up some carrots in little pieces, a little smaller than a penny, and drop them in there for a little bit of a crunch. Well, that's my meal for the day. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.